Hi there, and welcome to our spiritual playlist about collage. As with all creative experiences, this is a spiritual practice, and I'll tell you why. But first, if you're not familiar with collage, collage is a hunting and gathering experience that gets laid out in a very intuitive way and can be used for prayer and reflection afterwards. It's a prayerful experience to create it and then to reflect on it afterwards as well. So this is a very simple practice, and the first step to it is to gather your materials and set up a space that would be available for you to work. So first of all, you need a surface to work on. So you'll need to clear that surface. And if you're able to find a space in your home that where you'll get some quiet or privacy, that's a good thing. But if you can't, I have found that I get so immersed in the process that I don't even hear what's going on around me. So it can be done either way. And you could have friends and kids and stuff join you in the process. But for today, we'll be talking about just one that you're making yourself. So we want to find some space. Ideally, we'd like to find some quiet. And then we'll gather the materials that we need for this practice. You'll need some scissors. Regular scissors are fine. And then I also have like these funky shaped scissors to cut interesting borders. I always have colored pencils and gel pens in case there's things I want to write on it. The surfaces we use can really vary. There's no wrong way to do this. You'll hear me say that a lot of times in this short video. But here are some different things you can use as your canvas for the collage. This is just a piece of cardboard that I had. Poster board is great. If you want to work on a color, you can. That's a little bright for my taste, but maybe you want some color. And this is just a plain piece of poster board. You're looking for something that's a little bit sturdy. And then this here is a watercolor paper, which is really kind of heavy, and that's a good source of canvas to use, as well as just a regular painting canvas you could use also. Most of the materials that I'll be talking about are available like at Job Lot. They're very inexpensive. This is a watercolor pad, and that came from Job Lot, and it's just a really good surface. The paper, the small poster board, you can get at Dollar Tree. So this is not an expensive ordeal to gather these materials. These are readily available at minimal cost, and of course on Amazon. Then there's larger poster board like that you can use if you want to do a bigger one. I'll show you some of those after. So we want scissors, we want something to write and color with, we want our canvas surface. You want to have something to attach the colors, images, words, whatever you're putting on there. So you can use regular old Elmer's glue, that works. There's tacky glue, which is a faster drying kind of glue. That I know they have that at Dollar Tree. You can use just a glue stick if that's your preference. You can use Mod Podge, which is a good way to attach things, but you can also cover them over to seal it after if you wanted to use that. And wherever there's glue, always have paper towel. I keep it in a glass to keep it from rolling anywhere. And as a finishing touch, if you're inclined to add a little bling to your collage, there's all kinds of things you can get. These are just little spirally things. These are little jewels that you can get at Michael's Crafts. These are teeny weeny shells in the like craft and plant department. Here's a whole sprinkling of little hearts. So whatever you want to add to it, it's nice to have some different things if you're inclined to do that. And also if you want to give it a little bit of shine, I love a little bit of glitter. And this is a glitter paint. And it adds a little sparkle to whatever you do. So think about getting some glitter paint. And that looks yellow, but it's like really like a clear, glossy sort of sparkle. And then you'll need some magazines or some pictures if you've already cut them out. Magazines are great to just go through, and you do it really intuitively. You don't want to overthink this. This is a right brain experience. We are all artists. And for all the programs I have offered at NCC over 11 years, I don't think I've had one where someone, because most of my programs involved a little bit of creativity. And I think probably it's safe to say in every program someone has declared they are not an artist. And I declare that we are all artists. God created us. He is the ultimate artist. He dwells within us, and so we are artists. Like I said, we do this in a very intuitive way, and we just flip through and just tear out pages and pictures and words and things that really speak to us. And maybe you don't know why, but if it speaks to you, just tear it out, because we're just doing like an initial gathering of materials, and then you'll go through them in a little bit of a different way, and you'll know what belongs on your collage and what doesn't. But for now, we're just gathering. I gather materials for collage every day of my life, whether it's something that came in the mail, a word that intrigued me somewhere. Like no magazine, newspaper, or mailing is sacred, because I will likely tear something out of it. And so I'm always gathering this material, and I just grabbed a handful out of a drawer where I keep them, and I just thought I'd share like some of the things that had appealed to me, that I thought one day I would put on a collage, because I love making collage. This is something that was from a magazine cover, I think. It said, "Make your home feel extra happy." And let's see, calm and relaxed. So much to love. Picture of waffles. Let's see. Be in your moment. Here are some lilacs. I absolutely love lilacs. I knew I would want that at some point. Here are some succulents. So there's just here's a good one. Superpowers. I knew I would want that on a collage at some point. Here's blessings. And no worries. So I'm always gathering these materials together. Here's a card that really spoke to me, of a couple chairs by the sea. You know, there's just all sorts of things. Oh, brimming with charm. That resonated. And here's a labyrinth. So there's just all sorts of things that spoke to me. And so I'm always gathering these kinds of materials. And then when the time is right, I sit down, I clear a space, and I start going through them and just taking out what speaks to me for that particular collage. I often begin with like an intention or something on my mind or in my heart that I'm kind of focused on or want some clarity about. And the collage helps me do that. And I begin with some stillness. So I've gathered my materials. This is a lot more than you need. This is just to show you the different possibilities. Well, all you really need is a bottle of glue, some scissors, pictures, and your canvas, and paper towel. So I begin with some silence. I begin with a prayer for God to be with me in this experience, right? Because this is a spiritual experience. This is a prayerful experience. So once I do that, I kind of get quiet and I just begin. So I choose my surface and I start going through a magazine, flipping through, tearing out pages. Tearing is better than cutting sometimes because it's a more physical act. You know, you tear it out. And so I think you connect in a little bit of a deeper way when you do that. And then scissors are great too, and then just choosing ones that you've saved, you know. I have the things I have here. Some of them come from an affirmations calendar that I have every day. So every single day I save that affirmation and it goes in the collage drawer. There's just all sorts of things here that prompt me to make a collage soon. Anyway, so you have all your materials, you've gotten silent, you've offered a prayer, and then you begin. You begin just choosing what materials you want to use, what pictures. You're looking for pictures, images, colors, shapes, maybe materials. Maybe you want feathers in your collage, or string, or some pictures that you have of your family, or you can bring all sorts of things to collage. It doesn't have to be, just a picture like this. It can have all sorts of dimension to it. If you want something more organic, you can go out and take a walk and find some natural materials to include in it. There's no wrong way to do it. It's just a gathering of things that resonate with you. So then you put all of these things down. My process is to go through the selected things that I want to use, and then I've got way more than I'm going to use. So then you kind of cull through that again and start to place them on your canvas, right? And usually I will start to arrange them just a little bit at a time and see what is working for me, and cut them, and I'll place them down. And I don't glue them yet, but this is just my process. Your process might be a little bit different. But I choose the things that I want to have on here, and I sort of just place them around, and they don't all go straight. They could be all over the place. They could be crooked. They could be any way you want them to be. This is your art, right? So I'm playing around with how I might put them on the canvas, and then when I usually start with the larger ones that get attached first, because I know I can add smaller ones on top of them. It's often done in layers. I like to fill the page, and I like to leave a little bit of space for possibilities. But you might not want to fill your canvas. You might like something that has more space to it, and that's okay too. So I begin to lay them out, then I start to attach them with whatever gluing surface I want to use, and I just keep going until it feels done, and I've either used what I intended to use or have as much on my canvas as I want. And when I'm done with that, I usually let it dry, and I put on the back I put the date, and I put a title. I give it a title, like the theme of it that was on my heart when I created that, or what came to me after it was created. I may not know initially, but I may reflect on it and realize, oh geez, that was really all about peace for me. Maybe that was a really peaceful experience for me, and so I might do that. And also you can, once it's dry, you can do a little bit of reflecting on the back, a little bit of like a journal entry, and just make some comments about what you were thinking maybe when you began and what you discovered in the process of reflecting on it. These are just a few that I've done in the recently. This is just something that this had a weird top on back. See, it does not have to be perfect. Jesus is usually on here. Be bold, be brave, make noise. Yes. That's my superpower. Here's, oh yes, peaceful solitude. There's my whale. I love whales. So that was one that I created. And then I created, this one was a little larger. This I created at the beginning of the year, and sometimes they're called vision boards, but oftentimes people will think to do this at the beginning of the year. That kind of sets the tone for some intention for the new year. And that's what this was here for me. And you'll see it has some space left over for so many possibilities. Yep. So that was one. And this is a really big one I did. I couldn't even tell you when. Oh, wait, I have the date. Oh, I did this about a year ago. And that was a great big one. And there's plenty of sparkle on it and all sorts of wonderful thoughts and ideas. And I really enjoy reflecting on these after because they reveal so much to me. And often I find that something I put on my collage has manifested itself in my life. And I think, maybe there is something to this. So lastly, I want to share one other thing about collage with you, and that's that sometimes a collage is not, doesn't look like that. It looks a whole lot different. This, what I have right here, began as a collage on this side, about this size paper, right? So it was just on here. And after I made the whole collage, I did this with a group right before the church went on hiatus, or our space went on hiatus. Now we're actively doing ministry from home. But before that, I was doing a group, and we created a collage that would have started on this. Then the invitation was to cut a circle, and then the invitation was to take that circle and cut it into a spiral that went to the center. And this in part was to help let go of our need for things to be perfect, because we made this piece of art and then we had to cut it up. Oh my gosh, like that was hard to do for some folks, and to create the spiral. So we brought the spiral right to the center, punched a hole in the center, and put a ribbon on it for hanging. And this is what happened, which was interesting enough, except that when I came home, I found that they were spinning. And later on, I created another that someone in our group had put pictures on both sides of the paper and cut it, so that when that was so inspiring, because I hadn't thought to do that. And so here, when you hang it, there's nothing underneath, there's nothing on the underside. So I decided to make another one, and I made this one you see hanging up here that's spinning as I talk, just a real slow, meditative spin that was a happy surprise to me. And there's an underside to it, and there's some jewels on it, because I like a little sparkle. And so sometimes you create something and you get a happy accident out of it. And so these have been hanging here for a few months now, not by intention really so much as by accident. And I love that they're there, and they entertain me because they just always have this movement going whenever the air or the heat is blowing from the vent. So anyway, so collage can be anything, but it's a spiritual practice. I invite you to it, and thanks so much for joining me. God bless, and until next time, namaste.